abusuane ahwefo Justice Atuguba agrante interview na part 1 no ewo na nsima na all can say what say Mama Torkono ko international America, Canada or US eko akwaje mu ase omumu na okase this is just a nonsense or camera nsema or can mean kan nyina wa njinwram ne nkuti ntia all drop is a condemnation na all silence Torkono. God bless you. We cry expose why expose Torkono say or call international for help say Mahama Sakeno nti or say we nonsense in according to his word or call anymore or say they should stop this rubbish and start what all this demonstration is all about in Kutin.
The US aspire on each other. You know that activities linked to each other. I see these things on social media. Who is behind those things? Some of them, they themselves, you know. And in any case, talk about the Chief Justice was given a copy. And she also leaked it to the media or something. The president complained that she...
This was the letter she wrote to the president. And even the president complained even before he got it. It was already in the media.
Yeah, it's not part of the process. And who leaked it? Was it the president? And even, I don't know. You see, these days, I'm afraid of taking my information from the social media because you can find completely distorted facts. I don't know how people are able to do those things. Let me just give you some example. I saw on social media that on May 5th, I granted an interview to, was it your Joy or some TV station? And I was saying that when the president is removed, when the speaker is removed, why can't... May 5th.
May 5th yesterday.
Yeah. That publication is there. Look at that. It's the kind of thing that happens. And us, the publication is by some of your counterparts. It's the media does that, you know. And talk of secrecy. I don't know whether it's true, but I read on social media that the Chief Justice was appealing to certain foreign powers, Canada, UK, US, also to
intervene.
Yes. Is that part of the secrecy process?
But in view,
and those criticizing, what have they said about that? That's what I hate about this country. We look at one side and fault it. Your side does the same thing. You've seen nothing. It's correct. Nonsense. So,
but personally, where you sit, do you trust in the credibility of the process in view of all the issues around it?
Oh,
the MPP called on the streets yesterday.
Yes.
Describing President Mahama as a tyrant, as a dictator who is seeking to, to collapse an arm of government and facilitate, a third term in office.
Now, look, you are a well-informed journalist. You've been following the operations of the governments since 1992. I mean, will you be impressed by such a statement? How were they when they were in office? How did they perform? Transparently? Neutrally? In the interest of the people? Did they do that? What? This is the kind of thing I just hate. Pure hypocrisy. Apart from hypocrisy, I mean, the exclusion of honesty public interest in our political space. It's very, very troubling. Very troubling. Saying these things before the elections, when on social media it was a common thing describing the court as
unanimous FC.
Unanimous FC. Was it President Mahama who was doing that? They were in power. When those publications, what steps were they taking? Ken Dapa. What did he say? That's an honest man.
Makes the point that the court should sometimes balance their rulings.
Yes.
In the interest of preserving the stability of the country.
Yes, that's an honest man. Are they like that?
But was it right for him to have said so if the court is really implementing the law?
Implementing what law? If they were, what was the cause for him to be apprehensive? And was that the first time courts were in existence and performing? I mean, anxiety doesn't just spring from a vacuum. No. You look at the trend. Public perception, unanimous FC. Was it happening or not?
Today there was a unanimous decision in court.
Yes, but that was peripheral. That was, I think, to exclude Bafo-Boni. That was the only issue. But the more important is 3-2. Now look at the empanelments and see if that panel had not been reconstituted. I think it would have come 3-2. I mean, for how long have you not had unanimous until?
That's why I'm ever have issues with that and say that
yes.
the repaneling resulted in the decision going against the applicants.
Yes.
If the old panel had sat, they would have affirmed the applicants' relief, seeking that the president, is enchanted from suspending the chief justice.
Now that's troubling. Why are they so sure? Are they the panel? Why are they so sure? That should have gone that way. That's the unanimous FC that was playing out. And that should be sustained. That's what they are fighting to sustain. And they are wrong.
But does that feed into the public perception that the new addition may be working towards a certain political direction?
Oh, now let's look at it this way. You are the general. Yes, take time and go and get the panels on constitutional cases since these people came to power. And when I'm speaking like this, don't think that I'm for anybody.
Right.
I'm not for anybody.
Of course.
If I were to follow political leanings, I was PFP candidate for Paga-China constituency. And that's these people now NPP. I should have been. I don't have time for those things. They don't yield good fruits. That's why I quit politics. Now, so you go, I mean, what is the impression there? So long as Torkono puts panels that give unanimous decisions in their favor, that is justice. Isn't it? If it is valid, it goes ahead and hey. I mean, that's the scenario. That's the scenario. That's pretentious. It's not even pretentious. It is blatantly, unacceptable. You can't just see the tide of events. Why is it that? Lord, I'm coming.
Yes.
Even the very events happening, you see that there's a deep political element. Why is the MPP and they are championing this cause like that?
They say they are defending democracy.
That's democracy. Because when she's there, it is okay. unanimous panels always in their favor. That's democracy. That's the democracy they want to entrench. I've seen that scanning through the events in the courts. That is rubbish. That is, I don't know what word to use. You ordain a dictatorship in place. You have been overthrown through the ballot. Your last citadel is the Chief Justice. You are battling. Hey, if this one falls, we are all out. That is what is happening. That's how I see it. I can be wrong, but that's how I see it.
Then it will appear that our Supreme Court is politicized.
Certainly.
But that's not good for a healthy democracy.
Certainly not. And look, the variation of the panel, I would have. Is it? Look, who didn't vary a panel? There was one, I think it was about, whose case? Opuni or something?
Opuni, yes. At some point, there were issues with the panel.
Yes. Wasn't it varied?
Opuni had issues with the trial judge.
Yes.
Raised issues about his affiliation with the MP.
Yes.
Took the matter even to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
At every stage, he lost.
Yes. And the issue of starting the proceedings afresh, I think, eventually landed in the Supreme Court.
Right.
It's a panel of 5. The matter was virtually ripe for decision. She reconstituted the panel, took her 3, and presided herself. Was that not a re-empanelment? The decision went in favor of these people. Didn't they celebrate it? That is sweet for them. This thing has happened, and when you look at it, I'm a bit naive because my life is more of church and these sort of things. Even when I was on the bench, I was more to the church side. At the time of the unanimous FC, what was happening? Bafuboni, Kulendi, Waman, this man who was coming, Tanko. These were fairly senior judges. How often did they get onto constitutional panels? How often? Why was it so? Were they not members of the Supreme Court? Were they not seniors? And that's what I'm saying. Please do that research for me. Go and get the empanelments on constitutional cases under Torkono. You see the trend. Let's put pretense aside. Let's look at what is good for Ghana and get that done. Until that is done, we keep on moving in circles.
At the court, for example, in a matter that the Member of Parliament for Old Trafford brought before the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Even before they went into the injunction application, his lawyer, former Attorney General Godfrey Dam, had raised issues about the presiding judge, the acting CJ, sitting on the panel, and makes the point that the acting CJ taking part in that decision.
Get that done. Until that is done, we keep on moving in circles.
At the court, for example, in a matter that the Member of Parliament for Old Trafford brought before the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Even before they went into the injunction application, his lawyer, former Attorney General Godfrey Dam, had raised issues about the presiding judge, the acting CJ, sitting on the panel, and makes the point that the acting CJ taking part in that decision, obviously on the background that he is a beneficiary of the vacancy created by the absence of the Chief Justice, and for that reason it was not going to be fair in terms of the determination of the application. And you think he didn't have a case?
Beneficiary, I mean, I would have liked to see further and better particulars about this claim of
because he's now in acting capacity as the Chief Justice.
Yes.
In the event that the suspended Chief Justice is removed,
yes,
he may likely continue as a substantive Chief Justice. And so a case before him,
yes,
which borders on the suspended Chief Justice, and he had a decision to make for the position taken by the former Attorney General. He had compromised himself.
Okay, and
that matter was dismissed unanimously anyway.
Well, look at that. That's why I say, let's put pretense aside. And I'm telling you, this country, if we are not able to exercise political poison from our governance system, we'll continue to suffer. Now, let's wait a minute. Before her suspension, when this challenge came, when the process was commenced for her removal, Prophet Dame and others brought suits, Junction. Who empaneled?
The suspended Chief Justice.
She had no interest in her own matter?
But she was not on the panel.
No, but, look, empaneling involves picking and choosing.
Who to sit?
Yes. And you think she had no interest in that? Huh? Of course, there have been some decisions saying that the Chief Justice is the only person who can empanel and nobody if she's around. With hindsight, I think that those decisions have to be looked at again.
The paneling?
No, the fact that so long as the Chief Justice is in office, he or she must do the empanelment. Must be looked at again. Because, yes, they quote the provision that makes her the head of administration in the judiciary. But they overlook the introductory was subject to the provisions of this constitution.
Right.
It's not just you are the head of administration. And even if that subject were not there, it will be implied because, as I said, Article 1 and so forth, all powers are to be exercised in the interest and for the welfare of the people. Subject to that. So any step that detracts from that is unconstitutional. Now, so subject to the provisions, one of the provisions, Article 296, I think Clause B, is saying that all powers must be exercised with candor, transparency. That should affect the Chief Justice too. Her powers are not free from that article. And Ajechum, Datema, one of the best judges in the same, very brilliant man, he said that the Chief Justice empowerment power were subject to that provision. And the others agreed with his view. So you see, some of these things, they don't look at them very, very carefully. But it's important. I'll stress some aspect about that before we...
Okay. Let me take you to the Ghana Bar Association.
Yes.
You went for a review,
yes.
A mid-year meeting. You weren't there.
I'm not a member of the bar.
You are not a member of the Ghana Bar Association. That's interesting. I'll tell every lawyer a member of the Bar Association.
It's technically somehow, but retired judges, if you say I'm a member of the bar, I should be entitled to go and practice law again. I'm not.
They came to some...
But technically I am.
Okay, so they came to some resolutions.
Yes.
Yes. Some of the matters they discussed, some of them were put to a vote. Now, in a matter relating to the suspension of the Chief Justice, when they voted on it, 47 members of the Bar Association voted against the President's decision to suspend the Chief Justice and demanded that the Chief Justice reinstated, describing the decision to suspend him as unconstitutional. That's the position of the power. Are they right coming to such a determination?
Well, let me tell you, I think was it 2015 or thereabouts. The then Chief Judge Nawood made me to represent at the Law Week celebrations of the University of Ghana. Those days were called faculties. And in my lecture, I made a comment that the Bar Association appeared to be moved to comment on national issues according to their political coloration. Before even we finished the event, what's his name? Frank Davis was in the air, chastising me, so and so and so. Look, these sort of things, me, I'm a different person. I want to emphasize that. I don't have time for pretense. I'm not like that. Whether you are NDC or MPP, if you are right, yes, I'll support it. If you are not, your political color means nothing to me.
So in this case, what is your reading to this?
I'm coming. That was 2015. You are when did you become a journalist?
It's been a while.
Yes, follow these things. And you see, that's why sometimes I get angry. You can just see a certain pattern. Bar Association was tough some years ago. Tough.
But not anymore.
You think they are tough? Are you not in this country? Look at their performance. From, I think, Kufuor's time, they started muting their voices.
And it's because of what exactly?
Oh, they can explain. Huh?
Political coloration.
Whatever. But it cannot be anything wholesome. Because the wholesome thing is to be vocal and, proactive. And what they were doing was contrary to that. And since that time, now, when NDC comes to power, you hear them again. These things happen. I'm not creating them.
You think they found their voices because NDC is in power?
Well, I'm not. I'm just scanning the facts as they have occurred. You try to do the same, see whether you will not arrive at the same conclusion I have arrived at.
So is there no value in what they are calling for? That the president's decision is unconstitutional, even though it's only the Supreme Court that can pronounce constitutionality or otherwise subjects. But they say that the Chief Justice should be reinstated.
Should be reinstated. Why are you surprised about that? If you look at the pendulum of the what is it? Graph of their functioning. Is it surprising? Not surprising. And they should know it. And I think they know. They know. In fact, I think originally they came out with some kind of balanced position on the matter.
The first statement was that they were monitoring.
Yes.
And that as at the time they issued the statement, no law had been broken.
Yes.
And then they went to this media review and they came up with this statement.
So
describing what is happening was unconstitutional.
What was the law that they now found broken? What was the law? Not enough. I think they were talking about no constitutional instrument to govern the exercise of the discretion. I don't want to comment on that.
So, Your Lordship, no law has been broken as far as you are concerned by the President?
Initially, I think maybe when they did not give a copy of the petition, that could be said to be. But even that is debatable. There are various legal views on this matter. But going by Ajay, I think initially they ought to copy. And that was done when she requested for it, before the prima facie case was established. So I don't know.
That is the reason why the former Attorney General went to court with his client, saying that the President erred in not giving her a copy of that petition before.
Yes.
Now, and then even requested that the they wanted to enjoin the president from proceeding, and that didn't happen. You think that in terms of law, when an application had been put before a court, the president ought to have, suspended further action on the matter until the determination of the case?
That is it sometimes happens. I must say that the law on that aspect is not too well settled. Pendency of proceedings. What is the effect? Some say unless a person is enjoined, you can't proceed. Even in England, you can find some authority like that. But there was this case of Dombo and Na. There was a deportation case, and then there was no injunction. But the minister went ahead and deported before they could, and they were summoned for contempt. This argument of, the fact that there was no injunction, as you crap, they said that it was a contempt. So some do think that unless you are injuncted, so it's a bit of a mix. You see, these things, that's why I have pain in my heart about the affairs of this country. This action is pending, so you should not have. I think there was a similar thing. There was something. It was the e-levy or something. Injunction application was
exactly.
They proceeded. What did these people say about that? What did they say? Is it not the same thing? Nothing at all. It was fine and perfect for them. Now something, everything. This type of life, it's not healthy.
The last time, that was my first time we had an interview in this house.
Yes.
Just at the car park.
Yeah.
And you complained about the parking of the calls.
Oh, yes.
And when, to the extent that some people who were seniors were in appointments.
Yes.
Last week, President Mahama appointed 7 to the Superior Court.
Yes.
Your take on it? Is it okay? Is it in the right direction? Are they deserving of the delegation?
Partly, but I won't absorb them completely either. Because, you see, when it comes to these things, you look at the nature of the court they are going to, the challenges they will face, their background and suitability. When I was on the bench, after some time, I found out, with these appointments, particularly to the Supreme Court, they should have some from the bar, very distinguished practitioners, upright. Then academia, some should come from there, and then Court of Appeal, the ordinary. You have a balance. I came to the Supreme Court straight from the bar, and so did Sofa Akufu. At our time, they were very saying, these people are not experienced, so and so and so. What has happened when we came there? People don't even take time to know people properly before they just generalize. In saying this Hulabaloo they were raising, was it in 85 or something? I came to the Court of Appeal at that time. It was the highest court. That was the first time I came there. And my case, I looked at it, I said, this thing, I'm happy I'm going before a very strong court. It will take time, but eventually they will see my point and I'll win my case. And I did. And 2 other subsequent ones. And after the third one, when I was about to leave the panel, it was Sowa Osewri and Aban.
Right.
When I was about to say, oh, you wait. So what is it? You should transfer your practice from Bolgatanga to Accra. And I was saying that's what I was not saying, you see. Then they explained, we know that if you transfer your practice from Bolga to Accra, your practice will rise. How many lawyers had that commendation in open court? That type of court? Those days, how many lawyers would you meet in the court of appeal? Hey, those judges were tough. Right. If you didn't have confidence, you would dare not to go there.
To appear before them.
Yes. I'm telling you. They did that in open court. About how many lawyers have had that kind of commendation before such? But, you know, I was in Bolga doing my practice quietly. Oh, this man from there, what I've seen.
So back to the commendation.
Yeah, I'm coming. As I said, they ought... See, because the Supreme Court is basically a constitutional court. We don't have it as South Africa, they have constitutional court. But segment, as for the ordinary litigations, there's nothing so... See, but constitutional law, administrative law, these are more jurisprudential. They are not things that have been commonly and often litigated, like matters of contract, land, and all these things. So the principles are a bit obscure, a bit still evolving. And so the academics, they are good at that because they are research people. So they can do that. Dateba was an academic. Modibo Okran was an academic. Even Chum, he was an academic, but he practiced for long. But these academics that were brought, they distinguished themselves. Okay. And Kruge, he was there for 9 months or so, but the law reports there, his eloquent judgments, up to date, are being cited.
So you find no problem with the new appointments?
No, I find a problem in that you don't have people from the bar and academia. I want that court to be balanced, as I've explained.
You want that mix?
Yes, because it has worked well.
All right.
Yes, it has worked well.
I guess as His Lordship William Atuguba is a retired Supreme Court judge, and we are looking at a number of issues. We've been focusing more on the suspended Chief Justice and the matters around it. We'll take a short break here on it.
But constitutional actions is quite a unique terrain.
You think the standard is being lowered?
Well, I don't know the background of these judges.
Individuals?
No. But what I want to say is that, yes, seniority, when it's bypassed, is wrong. But it's not just raw seniority. Competence seniority, when bypassed, is bad. Not just seniority for seniority's sake. No, that doesn't, serve the country well.
Is it possible there could be conflicts among the judges because of the manner in which they were appointed? Some got appointed under this regime and that regime. I mean, you've been there before. Is it possible they're able to put aside who appointed who and go strictly according to the reason why they are there?
Well, they ought to be able to do that. And every judge upon appointment professes to do that. Whether, in fact, it will transpire is another thing. You know the oaths they swear.
But you've been there before.
Yes.
Did you sense that there's that kind of, I belong to this side?
Oh, surely. Why not? Why not? But it is the accentuation of it. It was there. I'll tell you also. When I came, and I can give you a crude example. when I got there, after some time, I started suggesting that because we are judges and the judiciary should be very independent and trustworthy, we shouldn't even vote.
In national elections?
Yes. I was surprised. Oh, it's a fundamental, you must vote. After some time, I saw that, some took these things. So clear, I mean, it was there. I mean, anybody who tells you it wasn't there is telling lies. I'm telling you.
The affiliation is there.
Oh, it was there.
Does it influence the work?
That's what I'm saying is the accentuation. You know, if a matter was 50-50, you could imagine that some who are inclined to will go listen. But when it was clear, I mean, it was difficult for the court to be swayed, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, that principle was there.
We are moving away, but let me just ask you a quick question. 8 years of the Akufo-Addo administration, your sum up of the way things went in this country.
Oh, I've spoken several times on these matters. But the best summary is the reaction of the public.
The outcome of the last election?
Yes, that's the best summary. Have you seen that before? Have you seen that kind of civic uprising before? That's the best summary.
Now, President Mahama is in town. Tomorrow he will celebrate 120 days in office. He says he committed to a social...
Oh, let me tell you about the appointments. I want to give you concrete examples.
Right.
You see, there are some judges. If you look at the Court of Appeal, there's a judge there, Dr. I think Mrs. Anchuchede or something. I met her briefly when I was chairing the Independent Examinations Committee.
Right. And
from that briefing, I could see that she's very brilliant. She said she was called to the bar in 1995 or so.
It's a long time ago.
30 years. I was lecturing, I think, in Legon, law, and practicing at the same time. Such a person, I mean, you don't, even if she's junior, you look at
the quality.
Yes. And you can bring her to sprinkle over and above others. That's why I'm saying it's not raw seniority.
Right.
It is the quality.